You're listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, the place to learn about new technology and technological advances before they become mainstream. This episode is sponsored by Ingram Micro Security. Strengthen your security practice. Let's get into it.
Welcome to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro. I'm your host, Shelby Skrhak, and our guests today are Shawn Mininger, Channel Chief Information Security Officer of Ingram Micro, and Jonathan Silsby, Director of Ingram Micro Solution Design and Services. Shawn and Jonathan, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. Excited to be here.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about cybersecurity centers of excellence. But first off, Shawn, before we get into maybe the specifics of what a cybersecurity COE does, high level, what are we talking about when we say a center of excellence? Are there different types, or is this more of an abstract concept, something that's a term, but not necessarily a tangible thing?
Well, Gartner defines a COE as a physical or virtual center of knowledge that concentrates expertise and resources. The idea is to make that available, those resources available. Normally the idea is, let me give an analogy. If I were to go to New York and I wanted to see the sites, those resources are spread out. New York's a big place. How do I access those resources? How do I get to see the sites? Well, that's why you have Grand Central Station. It's that center point where I can go to and have access to all the places I want to see. The idea behind the COE is it's a central place that we can align all of our physical and virtual resources so that our cybersecurity resources are accessible.
Well, so John, why is a COE important then? Particularly in cybersecurity, but why does a business need one?
That's a really great question. So in the industry, right, and by industry, I mean technology, right? The biggest threat that we really face today is not the latest ransomware, the latest zero-day attack, but it's lack of expertise, right? As Shawn likes to say, there's not enough good guys to fight the bad guys. And our adversaries now are not, pimple-faced kids eating Cheetos in the basement, right? We're talking about nation states and globally distributed organized crime. And there's very little respect for laws and borders, and it's affecting every piece of technology on the planet. So when we look at the landscape from a standpoint of what's going on in the industry, we look at, how can Ingram help, right? Cybersecurity is hard. We're not talking about something you order on Amazon or that comes the next day and your problems are solved, right? We're talking about complex solutions across many different vendors. And our center of excellence is really there to align our strategy and mindset, really for like a one Ingram approach where our resources are aligned, working towards the same things. We're structuring those resources in one place, which will be available to our customers through our Xvantage platform. And then really integrate those resources to help navigate those complexities, whether it be solution design, training, pre or post or implementation services, really giving our customers the support they need to deliver the best-in-class technology solutions. And really, it's really a change of mindset. Instead of really focused on vendors, right, with parts and SKUs, we really want to focus on business problems, business outcomes. That's really where the shift is coming here. So.
Well, looking at the solutions instead of, we offer this part, this widget XYZ, and we offer that widget, ABC. It's a matter of creating, like you said, whole solutions. So, John mentioned the Gartner definition of a center of excellence, but from your standpoint as a CISO, do you find that they still vary widely in terms of what people call their center of excellence?
Very much so. I often say that if you ask 10 people what a center of excellence means, you're going to get 11 answers. And that's been the case quite across the industry. The idea with the COE is that how do we take all these highly skilled individuals, the experts, the subject matter experts who have this knowledge, and how do we make them available? How do we make the resources available? And so, the idea is to give our customers access to the right resources in the right way at the right time. So in phase one, we're going to actually focus on, with the COE, pulling all of our current resources together, combining and realigning our existing resources under one vision. I like what John said. We very much agree. We've been kind of in our industry for a long time saying this next product, this next tool is going to solve the problem. And what we really need to do is understand that, Gartner often makes reference to the cybersecurity mesh architecture. And really, it really is. It's a concept we've been doing in cybersecurity for a long time. It's layered defense. And layered defense is wonderful. But in layered defense, you can't have those tools working separately. They have to integrate with each other. And that's hard, as John said. That's very hard, especially with the lack of expertise nowadays. So how do we do that? How do we get you all the tools together, help you integrate them, get the resources and the people? The people is the big thing, to actually pull this all together. That's really what the COE is about.
Well, so John, we know that assembling a team of subject matter experts, that's no easy feat. And especially for, a managed service provider that's listening, they're thinking, okay, I want to be able to provide this center of excellence for my customers, but, I just don't have the knowledge or manpower to do this. Going back to the beginning, the biggest threat is the lack of people out there that have these skills to protect against the threats out there. So, John, how does Ingram Micro help?
Great question. Really, the whole purpose and the aim of the Center of Excellence is at our customers, right? We have a lot of resources here at Ingram Micro. We have many technicians across many different technologies. What we sometimes get caught up in, though, is that it's very difficult to find the right resource for what you're trying to do, right? And we realize that and recognize that it's something that we're trying to solve for. And through Xvantage, we've got a unique opportunity to really align those resources in a way that will allow our customers, through a single pane of glass, to access them in a way that they want to, whether that's setting up a call, whether that's sending us an email, whether that's getting somebody on site. We have the resources. We're now aligning them in a way that they can be accessed. We're really looking at, seamless navigation so that people can understand business operations, insights, events, products, vendors, services, all in one place. Whereas historically, it's been in different places. And I think that's really the key here, is that we're really trying to provide a way for our customers to access all of our resources in a way that they need them.
And I think it's important that what John said, it's also in the way that they need them. So let me give you an example about this. If I'm trying to develop, or I'm trying to decide, how I'm going to build out my security architecture, you need advice. You need deep levels of expertise. We want to get you in touch with the right people. On the other hand, if you're checking the order status, hey, has this been dropped off? Has it been shipped? You don't want to call and set up a meeting for that. You want to be able to log in and have access to it immediately. That's the type of platform we're talking about. When I said earlier, the idea is getting you the right information, the right data, the right people at the right time. And I think that's important to understand, that the platform is integrating all of those basic use cases.
Yeah, I will add, we're really trying to align into a One Ingram approach and structure those resources in a way where it's easy for the customer, right? It's really, we said many times on this podcast already that security is hard, right? And it's not just hard because, the bad actors are more difficult, but it's also hard because there's 1,000 vendors, and those vendors are specialized in doing different things. And each of our customers generally has a unique set of vendors that they go to market with. And we're really here to help them build out those stacks of vendors that they're using, develop, build out, and enhance. And that is really, the crux of the Center of Excellence.
Well, being able to basically cut through all of the confusion that there might be and create more,
right,
easy paths, easy solutions. Also, John, you're director of Ingram Micro's Solution Design and Services. Tell us about the SDNS and what it does.
Sure. So our Solution Design and Services department is what some people have known historically as pre-sales tech support, right? So we have over 240 resources that are technical resources, that are technology aligned, that our customers can use to help them. Historically, we're taking somewhere in the range of 300 to 400,000 calls a year, right? We can help you build out a data center through a solution approach. We can help you understand different technologies that you're looking for. We can help you compare and contrast different technologies. If you're looking for a specific business outcome and you'd like to see a couple different options, we can do that as well. Our customers have access through an interactive menu because we have some email addresses, we have some phone numbers. We're starting to do things like bookings, which allows our customers to actually schedule time with our team directly. And then we also have a proactive arm of technicians that are really focused on helping our partners grow their business in those specific technology areas, right? Where they're working around, let's say, Cisco security specifically with a customer to help enhance and develop a practice.
Well, so Shawn, how does the SDNS, vary from another demonstrable knowledge source, which is the Business Transformation Center?
Well, they actually work hand in hand. So the BTC, the Business Transformation Center, the idea of that is used to demonstrate industry solutions, kind of target common use cases, like IoT or some storage or data center. And the idea is it talks about the bigger picture. And that's awesome. We have to understand what we're trying to build. But at some point, I need to figure out how to get there. I need to actually understand, okay, now that I know what I want to build, how do I actually put the pieces together? What pieces do I need to put together? I like to give this analogy. If you want to build a house, you hire an architect, and the architect builds these blueprints and helps build this design. And now you have an understanding, okay, this is what I want to build. This is what it's going to look like. But at some point in time, you also have to figure out what materials do I need? And what am I actually going to order? What kind of wood, what kind of anything, tile, whatever. The BTC is basically like the architect saying, this is what we're wanting to build out. And the SDNS is saying, okay, now let's put the pieces together, figure out what I actually need. What model of firewall do I need? Those type of things, the details that we actually need to get to the solution. So they work hand in hand with each other.
That makes sense. Well, as we do start to wrap up our episode today, we always ask our guests the same final question, and that's, where do you see technology going in the next year? So, within this cybersecurity space, centers of excellence, the knowledge base, where are we going to be in 2023? Shawn, I'll start with you.
Well, John and I talk about this a lot. Really the lack of expertise really is a big problem in our industry. The issues that we're dealing with are not getting any easier. They're only getting more complex. The world is not getting safer. Cybersecurity is only going to get more, it's only going to be more dangerous. And so we have to figure out, how do we pool our resources together? That's one of the things the Center of Excellence does. The other thing is that just in general as a market, what you're going to see is in recognizing we can't get away from the idea of layered defense, where we have to have this mesh. We're going to start seeing a pattern or more of the idea of better integration, and that's already happening with APIs. But it's not just the APIs to allow them to integrate. It's actually some consolidated dashboards and policy management that allows you to pull all of these together to actually manage them. So that we don't have to have expertise that has to know 20 different security controls. We can actually train people and work with people and build skills that can actually integrate all of them.
John, how about you?
I'll piggyback on that a little bit, but at a much higher level, because Shawn is by far more of an expert than I am in the technology standpoint. But all technologies continue to converge, right? And so historically, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, it was okay to have very, very specific experts for very, very specific things. But now we're looking at everything as a service. We're looking at hybrid cloud models. We're looking at IoT and security across that entire landscape. And as that happens, we really need to, have generalists as well who can really solve the unique problems that this industry faces. And the reason why I think the Center of Excellence is important is, to Shawn's point, it helps us pool those resources together for our customers to be able to utilize, so they don't have to go out and hire tons of new people to solve these problems.
I also think that, one of the things that we historically, oftentimes in our industry, we've looked at things in silos. You have people who are, have expertise in cybersecurity and people that have expertise in data center and storage and cloud. Well, I don't believe you can actually separate any of those. These technologies are all integrated, not just the cybersecurity technology, the security controls themselves, but all of the technologies. You can no longer talk about cloud without talking about cybersecurity. You can't talk about data center without talking about cybersecurity. And so all of these things have to be dealt with together, and we have to figure out how we can pull that expertise together. And so honestly, the vision for us in the future with Cybersecurity Center of Excellence is actually to partner with our other center of excellence around data center and cloud to make sure that our customers, they have a complete solution. And as I said earlier, I always tell my engineers, listen to the customer and find out what is the outcome that they're seeking and work your way back from that. We need to actually focus on actually solving the problem. And if we focus on that, we're going to sell plenty of product. We're going to do fine, but we're going to actually end up with happier customers and a better solution in the long run.
John, for listeners who maybe have questions about something that we talked about today or wanted to find out more, how can they reach out?
There's a couple ways. So obviously you can reach out to Shawn or myself directly. We're leading the charge here on the Cybersecurity Center of Excellence. But also, IM1's coming up. If you're listening to this after IM1, look out in Xvantage for what's going on around cybersecurity in Xvantage, because the COE will definitely be, front and center in our Xvantage platform moving forward.
Excellent. Well, Shawn and John, I appreciate your time and insight. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you, listeners, for tuning in and subscribing to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro. If you like this episode or have a question, please join the discussion on Twitter with the hashtag B2B Tech Talk. Until next time, I'm Shelby Skrhak.
You've been listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro. This episode was sponsored by Ingram Micro Security. B2B Tech Talk is a joint production by Sweetfish Media and Ingram Micro. Ingram Micro production handled by Laura Burton and Christine Fan. To not miss an episode, subscribe today in your favorite podcast platform.